Okay, so this is part 2. I know that the last video I did was just talking about the entry specifically for Classy Lonnie and sort of the collaboration that he did with Dreadful Rick. But this is kind of a little bit of an offshoot, and I kind of wanted to do this one for a little bit, this idea. So in the background, we are listening to Chubby and the Gang, Speed Kills, and yeah, so that'll kind of be rolling through. So this idea, I wanted to highlight, like, when their idea came through about where you buy music, that was that's kind of one way to approach how we consume music, right? But I think a lot of people on YouTube primarily, if you're getting other, you're being influenced in terms of where to buy your stuff. A lot of it is just coming from the YouTube videos that you watch, right? Which is cool, which is great, which is part of the whole idea here on YouTube and talking about the records you're listening to. But I also wanted to talk about, like, places where I have been still reading about music. I really do enjoy good music criticism, and it's often difficult to do that when we're sort of extemporaneously talking in front of a camera, right? That is a very challenging effort. I know that I feel I have a difficult time with it. So that being said, I kind of wanted to highlight some places where I've been reading music, and that's been informing my music consumption over the years. So the first one that I have to shout out, and I don't have like any sort of like physical copy to present you with, but there's a blog that in its current iteration goes by The Dust Returned, or To the Dust Returned, I believe, who's been someone who I've been reading his or her work that goes by Autothrall. And I have been reading that blog and reading the reviews by this individual or team of critics for over a decade. It's just a very dated way to talk about how we've been, I think, how we currently talk about how we listen to music or how we get our information. But that blog is still in circulation, or they're still putting out new content, and I've loved the writing there. Just incredibly well done. I never felt like too condemnatory or too hostile. Always a sense of like balance and perspective. When you're learning about this music, trying not to become too judgmental or jaded based on what is new and hot at the time. And I've been trying to pigeonhole like what age the author is. I think it probably was a teenager in the 80s, but always have enjoyed his or her work, and just wanted to spot them out. So I will put a link to the blog, and I think all the reviews that they do are also posted within the Metal Archives. So you can read their work there, but at this point there are things like on that blog where I don't know why anyone would want to go through the entire like Machine Head discography, but just as an example, like, I think it takes an incredible amount of interdisciplinary like devotion and skill and patience as a writer, as a critic, to look at something you potentially don't necessarily love or you may think is garbage, but to have that kind of scope and knowledge to properly critique it relative to the context in which it emerged, and specifically relative to the, so that historical element, but you also have, to go through the entire catalog and to realize, why, this sound, came after the album that preceded it. To do that for, he's got one on Halloween. So if you want to check out his thoughts on, or her thoughts on Halloween, you can do that. But I bring that up just because, I know I'm just kind of like rambling here. I think that is something that I love to read. Not because I want to buy necessarily any of those records, because I do think that is a level of criticism and knowledge that is something to aspire to. And I have, it takes an incredible amount of work and discipline to sit down and properly judge something that you otherwise may not love. So, all the respect in the world. I have been wanting to say something in a public manner about that blog and how much it has influenced me over the years. So, big thanks. All the praise in the world. Please keep it coming. I know blogs aren't the biggest way to sort of get into music now, but by all means, super, super influential. Here, I'm gonna get some more water after that extended rant. I'll be right back. Okay. So the other part of this was, the other part that I wanted to do here was highlight, many of you, if you are, watching this channel, you probably are subscribed to Brain Smasher's channel, but, a major inspiration as to, one of the people who gave me the kind of courage to step behind a camera and start talking about this stuff. So all the best to Ben. I'll put a link to his channel if you for some reason aren't aware of it. But him and I believe Jesse, I'm not sure here, but the Arcane Archivist. So this is their zine. In terms of like places where I love to read something interesting about black metal specifically, like both of them have carved out this space for affection, all things 90s black metal. And their sort of like concentration and devotion to a particular niche and era within the genre's history is admirable. Anyway, this is just one, if you don't know, there's a great zine out there. They've been selling out like crazy to my knowledge, so I don't think there's a lack of exposure here. But I really did, reading the content here, and if you're looking for guidance, there's so much black metal out right now. If you get a chance to read their work, I think once again, to kind of drive home that point about someone who's dedicated to a craft and understands a genre far beyond potentially your scope of understanding, like both of them can talk circles around me in terms of black metal. So reading their work and just how much they're passionate about this stuff, like both of these, this is an Algol record, Forgotten Paths, and Ebony Pendant, The Garden of Strangling Roots. Both of these are, I think the Algol came out in 2020, Ebony Pendant, this EP, early here in 2021. Hopefully those come up or those show on the camera there for you. There's not too much glare. But I found out about these two EPs through this magazine, while not needing any more promotion than it's already received. Ben has an interview here with Pan American Native Front. So if you're into this record, like the vast majority of the modern black metal world is, definitely, if you get a chance, for whatever reason, to pick up the next magazine. I think this zine is all sold out, and I don't know if they're doing any more sort of reprinting of them, but it's that kind of access to a genre that there's a whole lot of noise to signal ratio, and the Arcane Archivist and this zine is one of the black metal sort of voices, if you will, places where you're going to get incredible amount of quality content, background knowledge, history that is difficult to find anywhere else. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the Arcane Archivist, and Ben is a sort of contributor to this record, this zine, I should say. But that's one place I kind of wanted to highlight here, is that zine. And another one that just recently started, Spirit Coffin Publishing, and this is Mystification. So this is the first zine through Spirit Coffin Publishing. So just a little background here. Another blog or music review site that goes by Grizzly Butts has been, for the past almost 3 years, 3 years for sure, I guess 4 years, for me has been a highlight in terms of where to read quality criticism that is difficult to find in other places. So JM is who's doing the writing, and out of respect for anonymity, I don't want to give any names away, but unbelievable content, great criticism. I'll link to the grizzlybutts.com review site, but Spirit Coffin Publishing has sort of emerged out of the sort of making a transition away from just having a web format for JM's work, and it's high quality stuff. I can't stress enough the quality of the writing and the criticism and the consistency of the content it's difficult to replicate that right now. I don't know who else is doing that in the online blog or music review site, however you want to call it, but all the respect and praise, just unbelievable work. This has got a very different aesthetic to it, right? So the Mystification zine, whereas Arcane Archivist has got that lo-fi black metal thing going on here, just the black and white sort of print. This is a very different animal, but it's got reviews for you. I've got great interviews. So in here there are reviews with that have influenced also my buying. For example, here's Molten Chains, right? So Molten Chains, they kind of play like a blackened speed metal, in my opinion, and they're great. So here is, I think I talked about this in a different video. Here, let me flip the record. Hold on one second. Okay. So where was I? Molten Chains, right? So great interviews here, really unique content, just so much more in depth and a higher standard than you're often getting. The commitment once again here to craft, to asking great questions, getting in-depth answers from the artists that really speak to sort of a deeper level of insight that you're traditionally going to come across. I can't say enough about how great it is to read that caliber of writing within a metal context. It's just so less predictable, and I really appreciate the work here. The content, the zine is great in terms of the quality. Once again, that would match the writing. Here's a interview and review from Ghastly. I picked up that record this past year. One of my favorite records to come out this year has been the newest Raptured release. So picked up this. There's a great interview in the zine with Rapture, great review. They kind of seem to be linked, right? So you'll also get like a review from the artist as well as like a thorough interview. But Grizzly Butts is still ongoing, but I can feel that there is like a shift in the website from, instead of spending all the effort, there's also sort of like this interest in trying to get the some momentum with a record label and distro, and also a zine to get some of his work in writing in printed form. And I'm going to be there to try and buy as many of these zines in the future, just because how much I get out of them on a personal basis. If you're into crust punk, there is a deep dive, an abridged, exhaustive study into crust punk. Grizzly Butts has covered everything from like post-hardcore to gore grind in the past. It's primarily, you know, metal with some punk in there as well, but I just, you know, if there's an opportunity to say like, I am amazed by the quality of your work, keep doing what you're doing. It's an absolute pleasure as a metal fan to kind of get that craftsmanship from a writer. It's something that I really would, you know, want to promote and give as much praise as I possibly can towards. I picked up this from Spirit Coffin. This is Swelling Repulsion, The Severed Path, which is like a two-piece progressive death metal band. I think this is their only release, but you can see that Spirit Coffin is sort of interested in signing young bands that are playing in the space and sort of meet a quality or a standard from someone who wants to sign interesting bands. So I don't know what else to say in terms of, you know, more heaps of praise I could possibly throw towards your way, but JM, Grizzly Butts, Spirit Coffin, keep this going. Just unbelievable work. Once again, the quality and consistency that has been going on for the past, you know, 3-4 years is unbelievable, and it is a pleasure to read on a consistent basis. So thank you for all your hard work, everything you put into it. It does not go unnoticed. This was another video that I wanted to throw out there to thank, you know, people who are not only, you know, contributing to how I buy music based on their ability to sell it, but also voices in the community that you need to pay attention to if you want to listen to great music, great metal, great punk going forward. So that's all I got for you. This is part 2, I guess, of this little inspiration from Rick and Lonnie. That's all I got for you guys. Just one more opportunity to say thank you for everyone who was a part of, you know, this video, and then big shout out to Lonnie hitting 2,000 and Dreadful Rick on your way, I'm sure, to 2,000 here soon enough. So, all right, see you guys later. Bye.